Now, I'd like you to imagine being a single parent with 3 young kids, living in a house which is making you ill and forcing you on a weekly basis to choose between heating and eating. Sadly, this is the case for far too many people in the UK, with over 13% of households living in fuel poverty. Clearly, there's a systemic issue with the quality of our housing stock that's causing this, and it's down to poorly insulated properties. And it's not just a UK problem. Europe has over 45 million hard-to-insulate properties, accounting for 5% of total CO2 emissions. But legislation is now coming across the continent to tackle this issue. In the UK, social landlords need to ensure that their portfolios meet EPC-C standard by 2030. And legislation is fast on its heels for private landlords. That's a mandate for 5 million homes to be upgraded. But we've been speaking to large portfolio landlords who tell us that they don't have a scalable solution to meet this deadline. Some of them are even considering selling off properties, passing the buck, and putting their residents through turmoil. On the other side, we have our installers who know they need to scale up their operations, but they can't do it with current supply chains and labor forces available. They know they need a step change in productivity to deliver the scale of this demand that's coming. So how do we solve this issue that has such huge climate and social implications? Let me start with our proof of concept in South Wales. This property was cold and drafty and home to social residents. With our solution, we were able to upgrade this property, creating a warm, healthy, and zero-emission home in just 2 days. Our wraparound thermal envelope solution creates a new efficient facade around the property and solves some of the key challenges of fabric retrofit. Firstly, it's fast. It's 4 times faster than conventional methods. Secondly, it's desirable. We can offer a wide range of different finishes to suit the local area. And finally, it's affordable. We can deliver for a semi-detached house an upgrade like this for £10,000. It's our tech-enabled process which is going to enable this supply chain to scale up alongside our product, starting with a mobile app which allows the homeowner or property manager to collect all the data we need to fabricate and manufacture our kit without an in-person visit. Once we've created our kit and fabricated our facade, it goes straight to site, ready for rapid installation by one of our installer partners. And we've got the Vunda team to tackle this challenge. And my background's in materials engineering with over 8 years of hands-on R&D experience. My co-founder, Adam, has a background in software and data and over 20 years as a landlord to social tenants. And we're also joined by Alex and Chris, 2 award-winning architects with experience working in social housing retrofit. We've already made huge progress in the last 12 months, including securing over $500,000 in non-dilutive funding and LOIs from leading organizations in the industry. We're now seeking investors to join us to deliver our next milestones next year, starting with 5 paid pilots with customers, followed by 50 commercial sales. We're going to be investing in materials innovation and software development to scale up our products. And so we're raising $700K, so we're excited to speak with investors who are also excited about delivering our mission of insulating 100,000 homes per year. Let's make sure that no family has to live in a house that's making them ill and can afford to live in a house that's comfortable and healthy. Let's make homes wonderful.
Very well done for a brilliant pitch, and we welcome your co-founder, Adam, for questions. Let's start, while we wait for audience questions to come in, with a question about what sets you apart from current products on the market.
Sure. So current products on the market are traditionally internal insulation or external wall insulation, and both are far too slow, messy, and disruptive. There's estimates that just to scale these, we need to train 400,000 new people into the industry just for this job by 2030, which we think is not really realistic. So we're finding a scalable alternative.
And what makes you 4 times faster than others, asks one audience member.
It's a really good question. So the process for the conventional EWI is that they do a survey, then they apply the usually EPS to the wall, and then there's a wet applied render, which takes time to apply, and then you've got several coats, and then finally there's time for it to dry each of the coats, which usually this takes about 10 days. There's also delays you get with weather, different times of the year. About 20% of the UK and Northern Europe weather means that things are delayed, especially with the larger projects. Whereas what we have is cassettes that you dry fit to the wall, and you can fit them modularly as you go. So it's a quicker process really.
Okay, how long is the lifetime of the material being used?
So that's one of the key areas where we're better than the competition. We can provide facades that will last for a 60-year lifetime and require very little maintenance over that period.
Okay. Do you also have to replace windows in order for this to be effective?
The first proof of concept we did replace the windows and doors, and we actually brought them out to level with the facade to create a full thermal envelope. The next iterations of the product, we do have that on our roadmap that we will need to work with existing windows and doors in place, because not everyone will want a full replacement. We do see, though, there's quite a big market initially that you would actually want to replace them, especially in large-scale projects.
Next question asks, where are the panels made and what are they made from?
So in terms of the materials we're using conventional insulation products, which we can integrate into our cassettes. And the panels are fabricated by ourselves. We're going to be contract manufacturing some of those components, but the sort of assembly and fabrication into the cassette is something we do for each project. And they're made from non-combustible materials at present. So we're using mineral wool insulation, and we're using non-combustible facades, and we're doing some innovation with those materials.
Right. Does it work on all building types, for example, tall flats?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Actually, there are some quite good options for large high-rise multi-family buildings where they have full height and story width panels delivered by a crane, or you can have cladding systems which go on. These, unfortunately, don't work very well for low-rise residential, which is our target. So we are targeting firmly low-rise residential and also solid wall properties that are very hard to insulate any other way. And the way that we're approaching it is a much more so small panels that are manually handleable, because obviously access is a problem in small residential housing, and so is the flexibility and difference of the architectures.
Okay, that brings us to time. Well done, thank you.
Thank you very much.